You are listening to the VAHOMA Podcast.
There you go. Hello, and welcome to the VAHOMA Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Tim Abbott. I have Chris Mason,
What's going on, y'all?
Brett Phillips, a.k.a. Bert,
Howdy.
and Andrew Smith.
Hello.
You're listening to Episode 2. Hopefully we have no audio issues like Episode 1. So now we talk about video games, entertainment, anything along those lines, text messaging, of the Deconstruction of Chris segment, which we will have at the end of this podcast again, which we might even have an interesting story about the origin of the name Deconstruction of Chris, as Chris gives me a nod. And so we'll do one topic right now. So, Andrew, what is our topic?
Well, I was playing Ori and the Blind Forest. This is just kind of how it came up. And just thinking about, that's a pretty special game, at least I feel. Just the way it plays, the story, just a great game. And they got me thinking, what is everyone's, game that got them into playing video games? Just, gaming in general.
Or you call yourself a gamer now.
Yeah, exactly. But, I don't know if I just want to start first, maybe, or...
Me and you are probably going to bounce off of each other.
Yeah, so we'll let them go first.
We'll let them go first.
Okay.
It's not like we don't know what y'all are going to say.
Exactly. I mean, anyone that knows us will know. But, Bart, you go first.
Well, the game that got me into modern gaming would probably be Halo. But the first game that I sunk lots and lots and lots of time into was Wolfenstein on the PC.
Such a random game.
It was my
It's a great game. It's such a random one.
It was my first shooter, and it was, at the time, at the age I was playing it, I was not supposed to play it because I was not allowed to play it. My parents would not allow me to play it, but I managed to sneak it in on the side. Quite a lot.
I remember when Doom came out.
I can see little tiny Bert sneaking into the room, it's quiet over there. And then he just crawls into the computer chair, fires it up, and then Wolfenstein's randomly on the computer, and the parents wouldn't know it's randomly installed.
Well, when Doom came out, I would go over to a buddy's house, and this is when I was this is a long time ago, probably a year or two after it came out, probably 6 or 7, something like that. I go to a friend's house and see Doom, watch Doom, and then it's just funny. So I just had the same experience.
I'd watch my older brothers play Doom. Sometimes they'd kick me out of the room. Sometimes they wouldn't. But Wolfenstein was the first game that I really, really sunk lots and lots of time into. I mean, I'd played games on the Sega Genesis before, but it was mostly sports games, and I did play some Lethal Enforcer and some X-Men, but the game that really, really got me into wasting a lot of my life in games was Wolfenstein.
No such thing as wasting. It's not wasting.
All right, Chris.
Well, the game that got me was Destiny.
Oh,
that's
liar. Liar.
No, I mean, truly, Minesweeper's what got me going on this.
Preach.
How old are you?
Windows.
The graphics were amazing.
Solitaire.
The graphics were amazing.
Game.
The strategy of Minesweeper, you have no idea how to...
Asteroids. Asteroids is where it's at.
As far as modern gaming goes, I said before, Wild Arms is going to be the game for me. It was on the original PlayStation. It was an RPG, and it was one of those ones that, for me, games started had a story. That's one of the first games that I ever played that gave a story. I loved the gameplay. I played Dragon Quest and stuff like that on the Nintendo, so I loved that kind of gameplay. But this, for me, was the first time it was an actual story that I cared about, characters I cared about. So I wanted to see the end of it. I wanted to see where it was going, and that's when I actually started playing. Like I said, more into that leads into a Final Fantasy, which that's a whole different discussion. But Wild Arms is one of those ones. Like I said, the soundtrack was epically good. I enjoyed the soundtrack so good, and then like I said, it had animation sequences, which is something that I had not seen a whole lot before. That gave it a little bit more depth to it. And like I said, it just had a really good story. The gameplay was a nice all package all the way around. Like I said, I got my sister into it, and that's what started us in an RPG kind of thing. Because for those of us who did not have high-speed internet and things like that, we did not know what multiplayer was. So we didn't have a chance to play. you know, I didn't know what multiplayer was in games like Doom. I played Duke Nukem before, and I thought that was a fun game, but you know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get home to play Duke Nukem. Whereas Wild Arms was okay. I can't wait to get home because I want to play again. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm going to get up. I'm going to play all day. I'll pause it when I'm going to go eat, and when I come back, you know, back in the days before there was saves, you know, they had save files, but you had to get to a save point. And if I wasn't at a save point, I'm not about to lose it. So now we just hit the pause button. But that for me was Wild Arms has got to be it.
Good choice. Andrew, what is yours? Go ahead and say
Well, probably no surprise, but the whole VAHOMA thing that's based off of is Halo. It's I mean, I played video games. I played plenty of Mario when I was younger. I had a Super Nintendo when I was younger. Lots of Donkey Kong, loved it, but not until like playing the first Halo on the original Xbox. Just like the whole story, and after you land on Halo, you're just walking up here and looking up like, holy crap.
Now, let me interject here. All right, I just want to say something. With Halo, it was amazing, but it was so slow.
Yes.
And so when I played Halo the first Halo, I played it because I heard all about it. I made it down to the planet. I thought, this is the most gorgeous game I've ever seen. It was amazingly gorgeous. And then I got so stumped and so frustrated with it at that point that I put it down, and I never played it again until I met you. Until I started playing with you. And then I said, okay, I really want to, because after you talked about Halo 2, and at that point in time, Halo 2 was out. I didn't. I said, you know what, let me go back and give Halo another chance. And I did. And I had to force myself to play. But once I got past
finding where you got to go,
find out where you got to go on the planet, once you activated this big long bridge, and once you got past that, I became entrenched in the story, not the multiplayer. But the story, it caught me, and I'm like, and the gameplay was fun. But up until that point, it was so slow. I put it down for over a year and never wanted to pick it up.
Every time I go back to replay Halo 1, I always have to struggle to remember. But
with the Master Chief Collection coming out, I went back and played. I did the first story for Halo 1, played through it and everything like that. Man, that game is annoying. One, the campaign where they just took every room and went copy and paste like 17 times in a row. And they make you go all the way through them and then all the way back.
But at the time, though, that was amazing at the time because we didn't really know anything.
Talking about Halo 1?
Yeah.
Which part?
One of the
Was it,
like at the end?
It's the one where you're trying to get to the control room.
Oh, at the end.
Control room thing is terrible, but I mean, there's just a lot of things like you can get lost real easy where you walk through and you go, all right, where's the exit? And you're being chased by like thousands of floods. First time you really unlock you're being chased. Not counting the library, which is one of the worst level designs ever. But so interject for my thing for my game too would be Halo. But I mean, I always play games of Sega. I had an NES in my house. I had Sega Genesis. I was playing those type of games. I had PlayStation. I had Dreamcast, PlayStation 2.
Dreamcast.
Yeah, Dreamcast. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had an NFL 2K or whatever that game was, kind of thing. Oh, good time. I still have an interjection there. A buddy of mine came over and we're playing on the hardest difficulty, but so he did all the play calling, and so then I executed the play. So he was like my offensive coordinator, head coach kind of thing, and we were down by like 4 with like 3 seconds left. I threw a Hail Mary pass, got caught for a touchdown, and we won the game kind of thing. We were so excited, jumping up and down, high-fiving each other. Oh, it was amazing. Just so random out of nowhere. I remember that vividly. But Halo was the first game that I remember specifically getting. It was that summer of 2004 when the Halo Special Edition Xboxes came out. And I bought mine when Target got them. And I remember getting it. I remember going to Andrew and being like, Andrew, do you have Halo? He was like,
and then I'm like, well, what's Halo?
And I was like, oh, dude, you got it.
You're like, you have an Xbox, right? I'm like, yeah. I was like, dude,
I was like, how do you not have Halo?
Like,
I don't know. You're required to have Halo.
I was playing Mech Assault. I was loving Mech Assault at the time.
We got an original Xbox just because Halo. We played Halo at another brother's house, and then like 2 days later, my brother Josh went out and got one. Got the Xbox, and we stayed up playing all night that night. All night.
So
and when you make it off the Pillar of Autumn and you're going the cutscene to begin the second mission where you get down to the ring and you're crash landing in the escape pod and your controller's vibrating. And of course, I was upgrading to the original Xbox from the Sega Genesis. Yeah. So for me, this graphics were like, I'm looking at you guys right now. It's that good. And the controller's vibrating in my hand, and I'm like, holy crap, we're gonna crash. Somebody pull up, we're gonna crash and die. So it was pretty awesome.
So getting that and playing that, and then Andrew bringing his Xbox over to my house every day, and we would system link, and we were just doing 1v1 against each other of just Halo multiplayer, and it was very something special. But I vividly remember when Halo 2 came out, November 9th, 2004. Sorry, thank you. And
see, it's his destiny.
Yep.
It's his destiny.
It's my destiny, what we're talking about right now. The tapping thing's gonna, hopefully it won't show up in that one little spot there. So November 9th, 2004, Halo 2 comes out. November 10th, 2004, I remember being like, hey, Andrew, want to try Xbox Live? Like, why don't you come over? So I remember we got the modem, we take it downstairs. We only have DSL modem things. So I remember, like, I don't know how routers work and modems.
I think you plug this thing in there and then it's supposed to work.
So we get plugged in, log in, create our account and all this other thing. And we go to play multiplayer, and the first game we do is like free for all on Ascension. Why I remember that, I don't know. I think we had like 8 kills, and we were so excited when we actually like were playing against other people. And we actually had kills against other people. It was mind-boggling that we're like, we're playing with other people.
I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah.
Getting kills on other people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one day you'll get to that. I still gotta, I mean, you just
got them on Covenant. That's good enough, right?
Yeah, close enough.
I'm the decoy when I played.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Hey, Chris, run out there.
Okay.
Oh, you got sniped from the rocks over there. Thank you. I will go take care of him now. But so that led to, like, say that January of 2005 is when I met Vital and Primordial Goo, and actually not Primordial Goo at the time, but Vital and Hulk and everything like that. We all got matched into a game. Stage Man. And we all got matched into a game together of one flag on Zanzibar. And we had a good time playing together, hit it off, started playing, still friends to this day. I mean, they're 10 years later, I'm now still one of some of my best friends. I'm actually going there next month. Episode 3 will be a special episode from Oklahoma, by the way.
Sweet.
There's a little plug for next month's episode.
Ooh, a little teaser. It's Virginia's
coming soon.
Time, so.
Yeah, but that's where, like, when we combined our clans, where Andrew and I and Josh and Mike were from Virginia and they were from Oklahoma, hence the VAHOMA of this podcast and everything like that. That's where we came up with the idea. Was when Halo 2 was supporting clans and everything like that. We decided to start a clan together, create a thing, and we were like, we thought it was the idea of like, oh, we should have matching emblems to match, because that's what that was always the thing. When you saw all the emblems match, you're like, oh man, they're a clan. And that's important. It's like, man, they play together. So we used that as like a tactic to try and scare other people, so we would have our emblems match and everything. And that was the point when it was like, I'm a gamer, I'm addicted to this, this is what I want to do. Andrew was at my house every day.
Pretty much.
And that's when we figured out about like hubs, and like he was like then set up, and then I mean, I live in a townhouse, so it's like you go down the stairs kind of thing around the corner, and a 2-foot by 3-foot thing.
There was my TV.
You had your TV.
Surround
and we
sound.
put a surround sound in there.
I had a subwoofer under my chair. It was
it's like 2 feet by 3 feet. We got one speaker on a stand. The other one's mounted to a wall. They're literally like 2 feet apart on either side of his head.
I knew exactly where stuff was happening.
But he knew.
Exactly.
But every day he was over at my house. Even eventually, I think you bought like extra power supply and an extra like cable and stuff like that. So all you had to do was just unplug your Xbox at home and bring it to my house and plug it back
extra
in.
Cables.
And we had this whole setup situation, and for months at my house, every day we're playing Halo. And like at one point I had like a VCR set up, so I was recording VCR video of us playing.
We would record on VCR and then capture them to the computer.
Yeah, no, we never did that.
We didn't?
No, it's just they did it to the TV thing. Now the other thing, like that was when we created the part like a Spartan video.
Oh,
stuff. That was
that's right.
Later.
That's how we did that.
But the VCR stuff and everything, like I still have the tapes somewhere. I remember watching them a couple years later and being like, I am so stupid. What am I doing? Why am I on the bottom of Foundation? Why am I doing this? I need to be up on the top level. So, but I mean, that was the game that got me hooked to turn where I am now, where I'm involved in communities like the adult gamer community, where I was a part of the Junkies and for Halo 3, where we were a competitive Halo team. Like, that's what got me to where I am now. So that's why Halo is important to me, and that's where we're at now.
Then that way, the way you explained it, that probably would be Halo 3 when I started playing with VAHOMA.
Yeah.
Was when I really took off when I got Xbox Live and started playing Halo 3, and I started learning about map control and total domination.
Well, now there's two different subjects now. You're starting to.
We're getting into the Halo rant here.
You're getting into a Halo. Well, not just a Halo rant. I mean, I know a little thing about rants, but it's it was the subject at the hand is what game does you decide to become a gamer? Now, when you start going into multiplayer, that's another subject we can use for another time. Because they're like what multiplayer brought you to that dance? Because that's a whole nother world. There's gaming, and then there's multiplayer, and multiplayer didn't used to be anything, and then now it's a whole different world. I mean, how many games do we have that you played the multiplayer but didn't finish the story, or didn't buy for the story?
Well, that would be Battlefield 4 because the game was so buggy. Every time you quit the story, if you didn't finish the story in one sitting, you had to start all over again.
Yeah, but everybody's got those games where you didn't buy it for the story, you bought it for the multiplayer. So that's a different subject.
But see, then again, though, that is, people buy Call of Duty games for the multiplayer. People buy Battlefield games for the multiplayer. People buy Halo. Well, Halo actually has a pretty good story to it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would say it's probably half and half for Halo. But
most of it's for multiplayer though. But people can at least enjoy it.
For me, if I'm buying a game, what I look at is the story. 50% of the game value for me is the story.
That's the way it should be.
And if it has co-op, if the story mission, the main campaign is co-op capable, then it's 75%. It jumps up another 25% for me if it's co-op capable.
Well, see, you
could have made a Destiny comment right here. But
you could have. No, I dare you. I dare you. Because we'll go into that Halo Call of Duty, which Halo and Call of Duty own the same moniker of multiplayer maps. People play quote unquote too much and understand where you spawn camp, you spawn and kill.
Yep. Map control.
Like I said, the Destiny multiplayer is a bit different. But that being,
I wasn't going to go into Destiny multiplayer.
No, we're not going to go into the Destiny multiplayer, but it is what it is. It's there.
It's fun.
Call of Duty. For me, Call of Duty is different. When let's flip subjects now. We've all had our say. Let's flip to multiplayer.
All right, we're going to multiplayer.
I want to do. Let's do multiplayer. That's my subject. Is I want to talk multiplayer. So we'll do that.
Well, let's go. I mean, we're only 17 minutes in, so we might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
So for multiplayer.
Multiplayer.
Yeah. Go, Chris.
Go, Chris.
All right, we'll start. All right, so for me, like multiplayer. Again, I can remember the very first time I went over to my friend's house and we played Call of Duty online. Now, there's the multiplayer that I don't count, which is the Halo multiplayer. I've erased that from my mind, where I went to Tim Abbott's house and was scarred for the rest of my life.
That's why he doesn't play Halo with me.
That's why I don't play Halo with him. I erased that. I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Kind of.
The first Modern Warfare, and I enjoyed it. And we played it at my friend's house, and I was like, what is this Xbox Live? So I'd play on his account. And I had, it was like you just described Halo. Same thing for me for Call of Duty. It was like, oh man, this is so much fun playing with people. This was just, it adds a whole different element to it. I had a blast. I would go over to his house. Heck, I even had a key to his house. I'd go over when he wasn't there, and I played on his account.
Nice.
And, as long as I didn't go into the negative, he was happy, And I will never.
We're good.
Yeah. I was never more happy than our first year. Me and my wife went to the beach. Our beach house had a high-speed internet. That's the day Hank Nova was created. That was the week that I brought my Xbox down. I connected to the high speed for my very own experience.
I remember you messaged me like,
yes.
I'm on Xbox Live.
I'm on Xbox Live.
And I was like, what?
Yep. Now, granted, he had to take a hiatus for about a year until I got to the beach again, because where we lived we didn't have high speed internet. But Call of Duty was it. And then when Call of Duty transitioned to competitive multiplayer to cooperative multiplayer for me, because again, I didn't play with people on my same team. It was people. Met some nice people, they were fine. We played with each other, but it was competitive multiplayer. Then Call of Duty World at War came out, and the whole Call of Duty Zombies thing came into it. That's the next thing. If I'm not talking
Zombies.
about Destiny, we're going to talk about
Zombies.
zombies. So again, but you can.
2 episodes in, we have now hit every major subject for Chris and Bert.
But all right, so you were talking multiplayer. So again, multiplayer it counts. It's competitive, not competitive, but cooperative multiplayer with zombies. And that's when again, once I had my own high-speed internet connection, my own account, and that's when I met friends, I met people, Torched online. We hit it off with a couple other people that we kind of played with. Eventually, my sister got online. Nod to her over there. And it just cooperative multiplayer is what got me. Not story missions. It was just, hey, we work as a team. We strategize as a team. And again, you did that with Halo, with VAHOMA, and I understand that. I never got quite that far into it, nor was I that good. But I was never consistent. If I had a high-speed internet connection at that time, things might have been different because I could have worked with you guys. I could have played with you guys. I could have understood more. But when I just came in every once in a while, it was like, okay. Again,
because we were
you're speaking a foreign language to me. I'm just decoy.
Oh, it's matched with this game type. Okay.
But when we
get sniper, Chris gets
exactly.
This, Tony gets this,
and I'm just like, hey,
this is the runner, this is the driver.
What's left? Oh, me. And then, but I will say one time, I can't remember who it was, but not everybody in the clan was as nice as you were. And there was a couple of times some people who didn't know me who made some comments, and I will never forget those comments about, because I hopped in the Warthog and they were like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, well, how dare I hop in your Warthog? I didn't know you had your name on it. Again, left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the spawn killing. It was other people in the clan who, I wasn't trying to mess it up. I was there to have fun, which was what I thought the whole purpose of gaming was.
Yep. And those people are gone.
Yes, and those people are gone. But at the time, they weren't. So, again, that was why Halo left. Halo competitive multiplayer, not Halo the story, because one of the best stories I've ever had. Loved Halo the story. My sister and I played co-op throughout all the series, enjoyed it, looking forward to the next installment. Just enjoyed it.
I just remember going finding when you first just noticed the flood, even though I hate the flood now, but just that whole moment is like, what's going on here? What's going on? Oh God!
Yeah, I give Halo its credit where credit is due. It was a great blend of multiplayer and story.
Yep.
And that's where I feel Destiny also succeeded.
Quite possibly the best blend of story and multiplayer.
Yeah, I'd have to say so, because Call of Duty had one of the best multiplayers ever for the longest series, but their single player lacked a lot.
Oh yeah.
And that's
my problem with Call of Duty
Warfare
is
4 was
my problem with Call of Duty story is
far Modern Warfare.
There's for instance, I was playing Modern Warfare 3 because I got it for free when I got my Modern Warfare 3 Xbox because that was on clearance. But so that's the only reason. That's the only reason I got Modern Warfare 3 the game. So I'm playing through the campaign, and there's this one point in it where we're in some kind of
the airport
stock exchange or something.
Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's a stock exchange. I couldn't remember if it's a stock exchange or a newsroom.
Story of Advanced Warfare.
But it's dark in there, and I got some Marines or some Army buddies with me, and we're getting shot at from in front. So I'm like, I can't see anybody because it's pitch black in here. So I'm like, well, let me go up on the side here and get around behind these counters, and that way I can get the angle on them. Flank them like you're supposed to do.
Correct.
So I get up to where I can actually see and shoot, and everyone is dead. Every one of the bad guys that I just flanked is dead because they fell over because I got too far forward. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's when I put the game down, and it has not been back in my Xbox since.
Oh, that's made it farther than me.
I'm like,
3 story. I think I made it to.
I think I beat it.
I think I beat the first mission.
I don't know where it was in the story.
Several
but
Call of Duties, I had to force myself
terrible.
to get through the story.
It was terrible.
Advanced Warfare story is actually really good.
Number 4, Call of Duty 4.
I like House of Cards, and Kevin Spacey was basically.
Now Black Ops, the Treyarch on the other hand,
Yeah.
they can build a decent story,
Well, when
but
you start,
it's still not.
Black Ops and then Black Ops 2, the story of Black Ops 2 after Black Ops 1 was intriguing. It was one of the best stories to go. But there again, with Treyarch, again, I'm excited because they're doing the next Call of Duty installment.
Thankfully.
And I'm excited because
I want to give it a shot.
if there's going to be any kind of good story element, I know they've got a good shot at it. And also, I know the multiplayer, the competitive multiplayer of Black Ops and Black Ops 2, I enjoyed more, I guess you could say.
Yep.
than anything else. And then,
Those are the last ones I really enjoy. I mean, I still have
and like I said,
clips and videos and stuff from Black Ops 2. Is the last one I really enjoyed. So, I mean, hell, Black Ops.
Although I do miss Modern Warfare. Was it 2?
Nope.
Getting the nuke.
Yes, the nuke was great.
no, the nuke was not great.
Well, for the ones that could kill me.
The ones that
Nuke
could
was
get,
dumb.
again,
the game.
I'm going to use the
that's
term.
just dumb,
Yeah,
I'm
again,
sorry.
you got
Well,
the
the fact
word.
that they stacked, so all you really had to do was get to 12 and call it a Harrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty
and,
much.
and you had if you do big team or anything like that, you got everybody in the world that's got a free. There's always some kind of aircraft in the air that's
Yep.
shooting you. Not to mention the multiplayer. It was
Actually, you
too
had to get
much.
the seven to get the Harriers, and the Harrier could get you to the chopper, and you call it the
Chopper
chopper
gunner,
gunner,
yep.
and that thing would just camp on top of
Yeah.
the spawn.
Oh god, a chopper
Then
gunner.
that would get you to 25,
Yep.
and then you call it.
Yeah, if you call a chopper gunner,
Right.
you just might as well just. All I did, I would just go into a room that was inside somewhere and just sit because there's no point in even trying
Nope.
to play at that point.
That might have been me a few times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you
But-
you had like 30 some. I managed to get. I think I
I think I
got close
started
to
keeping
10.
track of my profile at like 30 nukes.
Yep.
But you see, there's elements of it to it that's not. That's why I veered away from multiplayer and I wanted to go more to co-op. That's what zombies appealed to me. And then, like I said, I met Torst, my sister, Brett. We all used to play zombies, and we get on there, and it was like it became more than how far can you go. It became exactly what you guys were talking about with Halo. It was okay. We have strategies. We have ways to
Yep.
go about what to
Yep.
do, what order to do it, who's going to do
Which
what.
Which doors
There's
open,
everybody
who's
has a
gonna open which
role to
door.
play.
I remember being the odd man out when I play with y'all, and they'll
Yeah,
be like,
Exactly.
"What do I do?"
We would tell you exactly. You told me what to do.
Yeah.
We would tell you.
Mhm.
You stand here. Let the zombies chase you.
Okay, gotcha. We're gonna make a crawler. Oh, what?
Well, yeah. The term
Like,
crawler.
We're gonna make one guy crawl, and then we're gonna go get all our stuff. We can do that.
Yeah, we're gonna spend 10 minutes setting
Tim,
up for the next
Tim,
10
you-
minutes.
You keep it distracted while we get everything situated. Oh, so I just run around and let it chase me.
Yep.
So you can get
Okay.
ready.
Yep.
I will do that. And then after that, we're like, all right, we're ready. I was like, but I need a gun. Like, what gun do I buy? And you're like,
You're
this
good.
one over here on this wall. Okay.
And so what I liked about Treyarch is one of those companies that listen, just like Bungie does. Treyarch listened every time they had a new map. They learned from it, some good things, some bad things. And for the most part, if you look at the progression of maps, there were some good ones, there were some bad ones, but
The
even
moon.
but even the bad ones, they tried new elements, didn't work. You don't see them repeated again, do you?
Nope.
So again, they're a company that listens to, again, and when you're talking about gamers, they're people who care about the game. They want to play it. They're not obsessed per se.
Yeah.
But you've got a huge fan base, so it's listening to your consumer is going to be huge. So for Treyarch, I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year. I'm really looking forward to see what it's been how long since we've had a new zombies.
Yeah.
But again,
One
it's
that was legit.
yes.
Yeah, Advanced Warfare,
But
they got
Destiny
chapters
has
on
helped
there.
me fill
Yeah.
that void of zombies, because what appeals to me about Destiny is the same thing that appeals to me about zombies. It's the co-op.
Co-op is really
You have raids, you have missions, you can do story. I mean, you can there's nothing you really can't do cooperatively. So again, not getting into a Destiny raid,
I know.
but that's why I enjoyed it.
I'll go through one random story from multiplayer from when you first got on multiplayer, and we were playing Call of Duty, and I finally got Modern Warfare. I played that beta so much that I got burnt out of Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. So I never picked it up until like very later on. So I remember when I get in, the first time getting on, Chris is like, "Yeah, I get to be the guy that actually knows what's going on with Call of Duty. I get to be the leader kind of thing." And we play like one match, and I get like 10, well, I get like 8, 9, 10 kills, something like that. Then we played a map from the beta. All of a sudden I had 30, and he was like, "What the hell was that?"
Wasn't even fair.
I went like 30 and 5. I was like, I know this map really, really well.
Modern Warfare 1 was so good, though. With
It
the
was.
story.
Mhm.
And, of course, everyone knows that that's when you start doing perks on your multiplayer, and then you
That's the first time I saw
customize
it.
your class. And that's just, but the story, I just remember like being in the chopper, getting hit by the nuke, and then you're going, I was like, am I gonna die?
Your character
I'm
dies.
gonna die? I'm like,
No,
I'm dead.
What irritated the heck out of me about the
That was,
multiplayer
what,
on
how many
Call of
years ago?
Duty, more so than Halo ever did, it's the term luck box grenade. It's not luck box grenade. It's okay. When you could do the kill cam and you see, you're playing domination and somebody turns
A
to
grenade, yep.
the left side randomly. throws a grenade, and it randomly does 2 bounces and lands exactly at C, which is where the other team spawned, and is capturing at that very moment. And they get 6 kills with that. Like I said, the game was set up for people who, again, have no lives, who have nothing else better to do.
Correct.
Those are not gamers. Those are idiots.
Modern Warfare 2 broke me when it turned into the one-man army, danger close,
Oh
grenade launcher.
yeah.
And all they did was just spam grenades.
Oh,
Noob tube.
YouTube.
Now, wait a minute. The word noob tube. If it's in the game, the argument can be made. If it's in the game and you can use, how can you keep dissing it? But there were so many glitches.
Yep.
So many buggies.
But
that.
the biggest thing was that somebody would just fire the 2. They figured it out. So it was you'd fire your 2 grenades.
Yeah.
One-man army to the exact same class you're already on. It gave you 2 new grenades.
And
you kept
again,
spamming.
with Call of Duty, you have so many idiots. Because I've never been cussed out by more 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds in my life.
I mean, that's where Xbox Live is at this point. Almost now.
Well,
Almost.
No, it depends on the game. I have
True.
again Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Halo now treated that way. Unfortunately, where it's back in the day when you first were playing multiplayer kind of thing, you met people and it was very casual. And you every once in a while you had the one person that's playing music in their headset for some stupid reason, or they were yelling kind of thing. But now you're getting cussed out by 11-year-olds that are putting strings of words together that you never thought were possible to put together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why I always go into a private party by myself.
That's one thing
And
that's
never
really
listen to
broken that aspect of the competitive multiplayer thing, whereas you are so afraid to go into a lobby now that you're going to get yelled at by some 12-year-old or 11-year-old kind of thing. And that's where tag came in for me. But now I found out I have all these friends now that are all older people. We all communicate and have fun.
Yep.
And I don't have to worry about being yelled at
Know
by
how to use your
12-year-old.
words.
Yeah. But
Unless they're drunk.
that can be fun though too.
Yep. It sure can.
Especially
I
when you
had-
meet 'em in
We've
Boston.
had the drunk thing too. The Boston one. The Boston guys are fun, but I mean, oh man, I'll still never forget Vital, aka Tony. This is a shout out for you of your mom has sex with babies. I said that in a Halo 2 match to a kid that got that he died.
Wow.
I forgot about that.
In Halo 2, when you would kill somebody, you could talk to the other person. You could hear
Proximity.
proximity. You could talk to the person you just killed. And so he kills this dude just out of nowhere goes, your mom has sex with babies. He had been a little intoxicated. By a little, I mean a lot intoxicated that night. And then that same guy spawned really close, and he killed him and goes, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I should have said that. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was me, Casey, and Chris, and Tony were all together, and Tony said that. And I broke out laughing. That broke me. I'm in tears, like trying to like hide somewhere so I don't get killed. That, and then when Bert joined us, so we started keeping track of Bertisms that he would say.
I forgot to put my Magnum on again.
That was a great one.
That was a great one. I was there for that one.
Dang it, I forgot to put my Magnum on
I
again.
was
Like if I had a nickel for every time I've heard that.
every time between games for like 4 straight games in Modern Warfare 2, I was trying to put the pistol back on my class, and it was called the Magnum. And what was probably
funny?
the 4th game is I said, "Dang it, I forgot to put my Magnum on again." And
everyone else in the party
busts
breaks
up
out
laughing. I have no idea.
Had someone been like, "Oh, I mean, I hope she was aware of that." And he's over here, like, just like,
what y'all laughing at?
Yeah.
So I just sent him a message being like, "Hey, Bert, Magnum's the type of condom," and he just comes back, "Oh."
It's on A17, last 4-foot section.
There's your
Wow,
there's your
I haven't
target
heard
shout-out.
those terms together in a while. I broke there for a second. Oh, target
So there's
speak.
our multiplayer talk. I think we are now at 34 minutes. That's a good conversation we just had. So now the deconstruction of Chris, I think, should come into play.
Yes, because we want to try to keep it under an hour.
So we should be able to do that. So I got a few text message things, but Chris, do you want us to give us that origin story again that you were in
Do you
the
want to-
process of?
The
That-
origins of the title of Deconstruction of Chris.
Because
Oh, gosh.
you were going into it, and I was like, hold on. This is too good not to record. So we're going to go ahead and have Chris give us the story again. Hopefully we'll laugh, but he never finished the story, so at the end, we're probably going to get some extra laughs. And then, of course, I have the text messages we can go over as well.
All right, well, we'll
So,
go. We
Chris
probably should
might
have
be-
started. This should have been in episode 1. Is what this probably
This
should
should
have
have been? one, but I didn't realize there was an origin story to the title. I
Yes.
thought you just came up
I could have swore I've told you guys this story before.
No.
No.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. One day, I was born. Then,
Oh god.
That might be a little
Under
too
an
far
hour.
back.
too far back?
Under an hour.
man.
Yeah. So in my younger days, prior to 21 days, I did partake of the drunk a little bit every now and then, as we all have at some point in time. I was at the beach with some friends, and I didn't know much about alcohol, as in the different proofs. I didn't know, one was stronger than the other, how to gauge that.
Those
nothing.
numbers that they have.
To give you an idea, the most experience I'd had with alcohol at that point in time, prior to that trip, was funneling Zima. Yeah, I said the word Zima. Yeah, I brought it out. I'm man enough to say I was a Zima fan. Yes.
We all know.
I don't know what it gets.
Can you even buy those anymore?
I've
never seen those.
Isn't that the warrior princess woman from the TV show?
No, that's Xena, not Zima.
Oh.
And I funneled it. I didn't even just drink it. I funneled it.
Nice.
So yeah,
Hardcore.
Which I'll tell you, what led to that whole trip was a graveyard and 64 Zimas. Because we bought our alcohol before we went down to the beach that year, because 98% of us were not 21 yet. So we bought all our alcohol through a mutual source here in Virginia. That will remain protected. And so we hid all the alcohol in a duffel bag. 64 glass bottles of Zima was mine. 36 bottles were another person's. And then a couple people had like cases of beer. But we hid them in a graveyard.
I love the fact that 64 glass of bottles of Zima.
Yes.
I proudly
claim ownership of this.
But it's just, I imagine like the clinking noise of carrying.
I'm getting to that. So we hid them in a graveyard that was near the person who was driving's house. We get up early that morning, collect the booty, put it in the car, and then we go. So we get down to the beach, and first thing we did when we got down there was crack those things open. But I was in charge of carrying this giant, like army-sized duffel bag of Zima. And I'm trying because I'm like so nervous. Again, I'm just a young kid. First time ever at the beach. Never have been to the beach. Never seen the ocean. Never. I am probably 18, 17 at this point. Okay. Again, this is my first trip to the beach. Never seen the ocean. Never been this far away without parents there. So, this was kind of a new experience for me. We get down there, and I am clanking. I'm trying to inch my way into the hotel because every time I turn, it's cling, ting, 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 ting. And it's kind of obvious what's in the bag.
Glass
so I have to, exactly. So I gave all my money. I'm like, hey, you take care of the check-in. We finally make it up to the room. We crack open several bottles. I have mine. Mine that are fun. This is the first day. Day 2 is when we're going to get to the deconstruction of Chris. Okay. Good story. This
story's great.
Oh yeah. You haven't heard all of this, which I'm really surprised I never told this. So we got to our hotel room. I don't know how many I had, but we had quite a few. Very intoxicated. Next to the hotel is a miniature golf course. And at this point in time, the only miniature golf I've ever seen in my life was putt-putt in Lynchburg, Virginia. So, and this is the place with the caves, the pirates, the water. I'm like blown away. I'm like, this is amazing. This is like Disney World. I'm like kid in a candy store. We have quite a few. And we decide we're going to go miniature golfing.
All 64 bottles.
No, not all 64 bottles. I can't walk straight. I mean, I'm just not going to lie. I can't walk straight. We go over. We're going to play miniature golf. This is a hilarious thing. We get across. We start playing miniature golf. We goof around. We're trying to not get called the cops on. But we're having fun. But we're kind of being loud. And it's one of those miniature golf places that has like a mountain on top of it. And you progressively go up. We get to the top. And I really have to go to the bathroom because we have drank quite a bit. So we go in the cave and finish my business. And I notice there's an echo. So I'm thinking this is hilarious. I'm like, echo, echo, echo. I climb out the cave And I decided this is going to be a great thing if I climb on top of the cave where you're not supposed to go. So I climb on top of the cave. I'm at the pinnacle of this thing. There is no point higher than where I'm at right now. It's at the very top of the mountains, the top of the cave. And a buddy of mine's up there with me because he thought it was, hey, I'm going, you're going, I'm going. So we go up there. And at the time, wrestling was still is very near and dear to my heart. But Degeneration X is one of the biggest things right now. I have my DX shirt on. So the name of the place was Treasure Island. So we clasp our hands and we go, Treasure Island, are you ready? Everybody is looking at us. We're standing on top of the cave. We do the whole spiel and then we get, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And we do the whole spiel and it goes, let's get ready to suck it. And we're doing the DX chop on top of this cave. My other friends who are not as intoxicated as myself and the other friend are decide they're like, we need to get you guys down and get to the hotel room now before the cops show up. So they did. We didn't get to finish my game at all. So we got back to the hotel room. That was day 1. Day 2, we went to the ABC store. And I was told Wild Turkey 101 was a really good beverage to have. So I bought a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 and a couple of 2 liters of Coke. I was told it was really smooth. So as we got back to the hotel room, I had a glass. It was smooth. I enjoyed it. Thought it was good. Later on that night, my buddies, we have pizza. That's when I discovered late night delivery pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another moniker of the beach. 2 a.m. Feel like ordering pizza? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
So everybody else is now asleep. And I am wired. Because, again, this is my first time at the beach. I'm, like, just wired from word go. So I sit out on the balcony. I'm just watching the ocean, taking it all in. And that's when I decided to start, I'm going to have to fix myself a drink. So bring out the Wild Turkey 101. It's a 5th bottle. 2-liter Coke and glass. Then I remembered my buddy bought a tape recorder. One of those mini micro cassette tape recorders. So I brought one out. And I decided to start talking. Just random thoughts. Kind of like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Just whatever subject came to mind. I was awake. I just wanted to talk. I couldn't talk to anybody because nobody was awake. We didn't have text messaging then. There was no drunk text. I wanted to talk to somebody.
Yep.
So I decided to talk to the tape recorder. And I get philosophical. I start talking about things that are near and dear to my heart, but very conscious of what I'm saying at this point in time.
When you start going to give examples real quick, make sure you censor yourself a little bit.
Yes.
We're labeled as clean.
Yes, this is a clean show. I will censor it because at that time I wasn't censoring much. So I decided.
I just want to give that a heads up.
Yes,
before
thank
we
you
went
though.
into this story.
So as we progressed through the night, I'm drinking. There's a very smooth beverage of Coke and Wild Turkey 101.
So smooth, you
So
forget
smooth,
all
you
about
don't
it.
forget all about it.
And then it's like when you try to stand up, it's like, whoa.
But the thing is, I never stood up. I'm sitting there the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Just watching the ocean, just enjoying life. I'm just so happy to be there. It's my first beach trip, my first trip away from my parents. It's just so much fun. I just don't know what to do with myself. I never even been to a place like Myrtle Beach before. Like I said, it was Myrtle Beach, by the way. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But again, a place. Yeah. I've never been a place like that. Like I said, Lynchburg was all I had ever been. And was just in awe of it all. So having some good times out there. I start drinking and I don't particularly stop at any point in time. The night progresses. I've got 2 blank tapes. Each one has 60 minutes on each side. I end up filling them all. As the night progresses, I remember started talking about, how thankful I was for the beach, how thankful I was for my friends, my family. The individuals, my friends that I rode with down, were at the time very good friends of mine. So I had some nice things to say to them. Like I said, as the night progressed, I started getting a bit more philosophical, a bit more in-depth in my conversations. My speech becomes a bit more slurred. So the next thing I remember And this is where I remember. I remember being very conscious, very grateful, very humble. And the one comment I remember before going to bed, quotation marks,
Can't remember.
was there were girls on the balcony next to us. I'm looking at them, talking to the tape recorder, and I'm like, you know what? Those girls look like they want to do very bad things to me. That starts the silliness that becomes the later things to be recorded. Very trying this. There was more explicit words used, and then it just kind of goes on a downhill rant from there. The next morning, at this point in time, that's the last physical memory I have. The next thing I remember is waking up on the bed, completely sideways, completely clothed. The bed is completely made. I never got under the covers, and I just remember feeling awful. I mean, my head is pounding, my stomach is upset, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know, and I noticed that the room is spinning. I cannot.
Oh.
I'm like, what is? Again, I've never been this drunk in my life. Well, that's a different story. I've never had a hangover in my life up until this point in time. I had thrown up into my friend's shoes, who were nicely next to the bed next to me, all in them. He has woken up and he has started saying, "Chris, are you okay? What happened, man?" And then I hear the words, "Oh my God!" And again, I'm processing at this point. I don't know what's happened. And in the sunlight, you can see glistening this empty bottle of Wild Turkey 101 on the balcony. He said, "Chris, did you drink all of that?" I was like, "Yes." He's panicking at this point. He's like, "I don't know if we should call a doctor. We should take you to the emergency room. You could have alcohol poisoning." I'm like, he's like, "You should have drank all that. That's 101. That's really the strong stuff." And I'm like, nobody told me that. Again, newbie at drinking at all. Did not realize that it was just so smooth, I must say. So it's slowly coming to fruition. So he's cleaned himself up. He's cleaned up the floor. He's cleaned up his shoes as much as they can be.
You missed that pretty tough part of the story, though.
What?
You didn't tell that part about the shoes.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Not on recording.
Oh, well, I threw up in his shoes. I'm going to say that now. When I open my eyes, I'm laying sideways on the bed, and there's a pile of throw up in the floor on top of his shoes. Luckily, it's not his only pair of shoes. So he's cleaning up. He's like, we were going to go meet at Preston's in Myrtle Beach for our seafood buffet. Again, why do you go to the beach? Seafood buffet. Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Oh, yeah.
Benjamin's, dang right. So we were going to Preston's that afternoon for lunch. So I get up, I get a shower, and I feel the most awful I've ever felt in my life. Never had a hangover. I'm asking my friends, what does this mean? They're like, "You're just hungover, dude." I'm like, I don't like it. Make it stop. Make it stop.
I'm never drinking again.
Oh yeah. I had those conversations with myself. Dude, you're never drinking again. It's like, yeah, that lasted. I had ibuprofen. I was taking Tylenol. I was taking Pepto, Tums, anything I could think of to. So what's the best thing to do at that point in time? Let's drag Chris to Broadway at the beach and walk the entire strip.
Oh, that's rough.
So that's what we did, and it's 98 degrees outside.
Oh.
Most miserable day of my life. As we're going around all Broadway at the beach, we're going in stores, we're going back in, we're going back out. I'm just like, and one of my then so-called friends was just getting angry with me because I was being such a downer. I wasn't being peppy and happy. And I finally snapped at the general store and yelled at him that I'm sorry. This was the first time I'd ever been hung over. I'm sorry that me getting sick has inconvenienced your trip. Kind of was quiet after that. We get back to the hotel room. We were let me finish the story. We went to Preston's. I wasted $30 in my life. I ate like 2 plates of nothing because I couldn't eat. I wanted to. I was hungry. Trust me, I was hungry, but couldn't eat anything. So we go back to the hotel room, and I go get a shower. When I come out, my buddy is standing sitting over in the corner, and he's laughing hysterically. I don't know why, but he's like in tears, rolling. He's just in tears, just crying. He has the tape recorder in his hand. He's listening to the tapes. Apparently, I recorded. And apparently that last memory I just talked about, there was more after that. A lot more. That's the last memory I have. That's why I wish I had those tapes today, because, like I said, he named them at that point in time the Deconstruction of Chris. Because, as he said, he listened to the whole spiel. And you could see Chris starting very, very humble, very good mood. But he says the speech started getting slurred. Randomness started going in to the point of just where it was sloppy, just flat out drunken mess. So that's where the term Deconstruction of Chris came from. They were infamous tapes. Again, unfortunately for me, that this person and I are no longer on speaking terms, so those tapes have been lost to time. But those would be a great thing to relive at some point in time.
That was a very, very good origin story. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll do what I can.
So I had two things, two different dates that we were going to do things, but that Deconstruction of Chris origin story lasted 17 minutes. So we're just going to do one.
Let's just do one. Let's save some stuff.
Because we're at 51 minutes right now. We weren't going to talk for an hour?
No, 2 hours.
We're talking an hour.
It happens.
Anyways, you'll like this one. See if you remember this or not.
I remember the Contra Code.
Yeah, not the Contra Code one. That was good, but we're going to go with this. This is from July 19th, 2014 at 10:24.
Okay, that's in recent memory.
Okay, I got a hi. Then I got a 1 minute later. I got a are you there, Tim? Then 3 minutes later, I got a Hedgekullut sentiment. It's HEDEDKLLOT8ME. Then I got a Tim Abbott.
Close.
Then I got a is Chris. My phone's dead. Silo, I hijacked Michelle's phone. Woo!
I remember that one.
Then I get a very perfectly text. Tim,
Was
I
that an
apologize.
excursion?
Chris's phone is dead and he took mine from me. So I was
Right.
getting these text messages from Michelle's phone. And then I get a Tim, mother, Abu, broke back Sunday, we be doing it. I'm excited. And then I got Njabi, I hijacked my Shelby phone again. Booyah!
Booyah.
As my sister has handed me her cell phone, and I'm seeing these exact same text messages.
That was all. I like but
Booyah.
that was all within 10 minutes of each other, and then like the hour later was the I listen. It's Njabi hijacked my Shelby phone again. Booyah!
So I remember that night. We have started a somewhat of a tradition with my sisters and I. We are going out and enjoying ourselves together, just the three of us. And my sister Michelle has become our DD, so to speak, because she is awesome. And that night I decided I wanted to go to a Mexican restaurant that I heard had a 100-ounce beer tower.
What?
And
Where?
I have heard this.
Fiesta Tapatía.
Fiesta Tapatía.
Fiesta Tapatía.
I had heard of it, and I had to see it from my own eyes.
I live here.
And you
Why
know
have
what?
I heard of this?
Andrew, you tell me when. I'm down. So it's over there on not Old Forest Road, but Graves Mill.
Okay.
Across from Food Line. On Graves Mill.
Okay.
I am down if you ever want to go, but you gotta get your own.
Oh.
It was $17, and it is the most epic of things to see. It is a giant. It has an ice core in it, so keep the beer cold. But it literally is 5-6 feet tall, and it has a little gauge on it where it tells you how much beer is in it. But it's up to 100 ounces, and it was a 100-ounce beer tower. It has the bottom of it has a little spout. And you get a nice frosty glass, and they're like, have at it. So as Tim is showing us, I wish you guys could see this. Tim, you might want to include that picture
this will be in the YouTube
video.
Here's a picture of it.
Show him. It is an amazing invention. If you have not experienced the 100-ounce beer tower, I suggest you try it today.
How late do they open? I'm just kidding.
Well, not today.
Later
'cause
they
they're-
open.
They might be closed.
They might be closed,
We'll
but
try it tomorrow.
you know what? Next time that should be where we start
Yeah.
our
Oh,
night.
God, that should make recording.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
really,
I am
really fun.
absolutely down for that. If Michelle doesn't want to
Andrew,
eat,
I'll
that's
be your
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. She's not a big Mexican fan, but you know what? If we decide to do that, I am down.
Yes.
They make your own guacamole right in front of you too.
Really?
Yes. Again, a novelty that I had not seen before.
Yeah.
So we were there for a little bit longer because neither one of my sisters are big beer drinkers, and I still had to pace myself quite a bit. But again, this nice 100-ounce beer tower, frosty, sitting there. So as I'm drinking, getting nice draft beer, it was really good. Enjoyed ourselves. We had a great time. Of course, this was after we had gone to Outback and had discovered the rum punch at Outback, which was like Kool-Aid on crack. So I like to call it.
So you know what I just realized from that picture you sent me was that at 7:40 you sent me that picture of the 100-ounce beer tower and fresh made guac tableside. It's on, and so I came back LOL. So I should expect text later. 3 hours later, I got a text from
Yes,
Michelle's
you did.
phone because your phone was
My
dead.
phone had died as she had gone to the bathroom. Showed him that one, and when she had I had commandeered her phone.
So I can get them in YouTube
That
video.
was an amazing fun. That started our tradition, which we have done at least one more time since then. So we've done 3 times. Yeah, we go different places. We end up
Chris
at
doesn't
Outback.
remember those other two.
I don't remember a whole lot. No, that was one place I really wanted to go. Now, it's been more of a consensus when we go out. So sometimes it's just been a fun night where we watch a lot of movies, not necessarily a fun. There will be a time when it becomes closer to my birthday where I'll get to pick where we go. And there might be some more text messages coming out then.
We need them. It's content
You know.
now. We need them.
Yes, indeed. You know, I got a reason to go around. But that
Required.
Yep.
that definitely will be coming, when it gets closer to my birthday for that.
So we that was a good way to end this story. So end this thing here. So thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter. We have a VAHOMA Podcast Twitter account in case anybody was wondering. No one knew
Sweet.
this.
No, I was trying to let you say we have a
it's-
podcast and we were just going to roll through. It's like,
it's-
yeah, we knew the
I am
whole time.
actually
It's-
I'm actually very much looking forward to the next installment where you're going to be in Oklahoma because
Yeah.
I know here you're going to be doing a lot, but I know you've been up there and I haven't again have not had a lot of multiplayer on the one. I haven't played for quite some time with those guys out there, so
Yep.
I'll be very interested to hear those guys. Hadn't seen or played with them for a
Yep.
while.
So follow us on Twitter. VAHOMA Podcast is the podcast's Twitter. My Twitter is VA_annihilator. VAH_ANNIHIL8R. Andrew,
Metal Blade 85.
all one word.
All one word.
And the number is 85. Bert, what's
85.
yours? I couldn't even call it. You probably don't use it anymore, do you? You're going to need to
You're
start
looking, he's like, Twitter.
Mine is something like Muddauber 24, I
I
think.
think that's it. Bud Dauber.
I have
um,
exactly 6 followers. Yes.
We're gonna get Chris on Twitter. I'm gonna go with Hank Nova 316. You need to create that.
Oh, it's
bef-
on the
before
interwebs
before
now.
I post this, you're gonna need to
Which,
create
if you
that.
post that, if anybody can tell me what Hank Nova is from, you're gonna get a big thumbs up from me.
I'm gonna. I don't even think I remember the origin story for that, but hey, whatever. Next month's episode will be coming from Oklahoma because I will be out there to see those guys. So that'll be a special one-off episode, and then we'll be back hopefully in May with this group. Thank you for listening, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening.